100 nights of fiber frights. We are officially here and ready to chat about this crochet along. We're like a couple of weeks away, but I wanted to chat about it because there's a lot of things that happen from now until the beginning, which is July 23rd. Like, that's the official start day. The pattern is already out there. If you follow me on my Insta account, you'll see I did a little reel from it. The pattern's there. You can go ahead and pick it up. If you'd like to have a tangible, I mean, this is a packet this year. There's a lot of things happening. We have the graphs and all the stuff in it too. So if you like that tangible feeling, which I do, I love having these and then like saving them year after year too. I have a nice little binder in it. It's just another thing to remember Halloween 2024 from. So yeah, you can go ahead and check that out. There's also going to be stuff popping up here. Like, this is not the last time we're going to chat about this before the start date. First off, this year, the blanket reveal that you just saw in the beginning is a crochet corner to corner blanket. This is something that I have never done here in the yarn dungeon. I've never made a pattern for you and I to work up before. It's totally new. You might be a little scared of it at right this second. If you've never done corner to corner crochet, it looks like a lot. I mean, it looks amazing when you're done with it, which is why I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So all the way back in February, I did a poll with the entire Ghoul Squad. I'm like, what do we want to do for this 100 night countdown? Do we want to do something nice and easy, just like a one stitch repeat, have this blanket counting down every single night until we get to Halloween? Or do we want to do something like color work or a graph or something like that? Just like overwhelming response was, let's do some color work. Personally, have not played around with corner to corner blankets for, I mean, it's been a long time. And then also in general, I think in my history of crocheting, I've maybe made 2 blankets that are a corner to corner style. And I just simply don't know why, because I had a lot of fun creating this one. So start to finish, I have made this pattern 3 different times just to make sure that the graph was the way that I wanted it, everything laid nice, which is why you'll see this version of it, which is the completed one that we saw at the beginning. All of the ends, none of them are woven in yet. That is because I worked this very last version up within the course of 3 days. Yeah, so don't do that. It's not a smart idea. It is meant to be worked over 100 nights, so use every single night that we have. There are just a couple of things that weren't laying the way that I wanted it to, and I wanted this to be an extremely fun crochet along. I mean, it's the spookiest crochet along of the year because at the end of it, it's Halloween, the spookiest night of the year. All of the things needed to lay the way that I want to, which I can successfully say that after this last attempt, yes, it is the exact way that I wanted it to. I think it's fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. The colors are phenomenal. I mean, slimy green, yeah, I'm here for that. And then contrasting that with the purple and the black. Big fan of this crochet along. Let's get into the ins and outs of the actual pattern. So it's pretty much like a 2-part crochet along, really. And it's also a very interactive crochet along. If you want the in-between, the support from the Ghoul Squad, that's what this entire crochet along is all about. I mean, there's just so many of us that do this every single year that if you come up to something that you have like a question about or just concern, there's a lot of us doing it. So you have the entire Ghoul Squad for that support. First of all, once you grab it, you're gonna see here's all the abbreviations, the materials, the color chart, everything that you need, and the gauge. So it's not super important that your gauge is the same as mine. If you want the yarn that you get to correlate to the yarn that I used on here, which in total there is 3,264 yards for this pattern. If you want to grab the materials and have it be exactly the same, you're gonna have to do the gauge, and it is just a 5 by 5 inch swatch, which ends up being 7 tiles, I think. Yeah, so 7 tiles by 7 tiles, corner to corner. How it's not, we're not measuring the stitches, we're measuring the tile, which is just like a chunk. It's 3 double crochet together. That's 1 tile plus a chain too. However, this crochet along, it's a make it your own type of thing. This is just a guideline, so I feel like we need to say that first. These crochet alongs that I do are super low key. Like, if there's something you don't like about it, you don't like the colors that are on here, change them. You want to do more for that night, go for it. You have a couple of days that you can't crochet for those days, don't worry about it. Like seriously, if you don't finish it within 100 days, not a problem at all. Like whenever you do finish it, we're here and we're still excited about it. We want to see your finished blanket. No pressure is associated with this crochet along. 100-night crochet along, it goes through everything that you get for the PDF pattern, which for that one, you're gonna get 2 different copies of the graph, the full picture graph. So you can print this out just to kind of keep track of where everything's at, how it's supposed to be laying. For corner to corner crochet, it is important to step back from it every once in a while and make sure that the picture is aligning with what you're doing. I definitely did it a couple of times where I was just so focused on the row and not so much on the picture anymore that I had done a couple of squares wrong. Like I had miscounted, so then it shifts the entire picture. Luckily, I stepped back every single row that I did it, so it was only one row that I had to completely rip out. That is my one suggestion to this. If you are brand new to crocheting corner to corner, make sure you step back, make sure you see the big picture. So we have this full graph. Then you're gonna get 4-page of an enlarged graph, and this is something that you can go ahead, you can cut it out and you can tape it together. Just a blown up version of the graph, a little bit easier to see. And this is, again, they're numbered, so we have like row 1 1, 2 2, 3 3. It's a little bit easier to see. If you have a highlighter or something, you can go ahead and cross out each row as you go and then cross it out on the big graph too. But then you just piece these together and you just have a much easier to look at type of graph. That's really all you need for a crochet corner to corner project is the graph. That's the most important part, to know when to change colors, how much yarn you're gonna need, and the size hook. I also have included how to work the crochet corner to corner stitch. It's gonna walk you through the start of how to set up your blanket. The size of the blanket ends up being 65 inches in width and 69 inches in height. So it's a nice little throw that you can either put on the back of your couch, on a chair. I'm gonna keep mine here in the movie room, which means that I'm gonna have to do a little reorganizing, add a little more purple, a lot more slime green to kind of pull it all together. But it's meant to be a statement piece. I mean, this thing is freaking cool. It's a TV that has slime just oozing over the top of it. It wants to be shown. Hopefully, at the end of it, you have somewhere that you can set it out to be like, I did this. Look at this amazing thing that I crocheted. To every single person that walks into your home and be like, look at this. Look at this super spooky blanket I made with my own freaking hands. I mean, we gotta brag about our makes every once in a while. For the yarn, I ended up using the Big Twist Value yarn. Let me grab one. This is Joann Fabrics brand of yarn, 100% acrylic, Big Twist Value. There is 380 yards in this skein. In total for this pattern, we only need 3 skeins of this slime yarn, and it actually is called slime. Yeah, which is why I use this all the time. Also, it's just a really versatile yarn, good for a lot of things. I constantly have this just on hand. For the color grape, we need 4, black 2, light gray 1. If you're going just by skeins and not by yardage, you are gonna have a little bit left over from each colorway. Like that's just how it happens. So this isn't exactly like 3 skeins get completely used. You can see the yardage that you need from it. So the slime, it says 960 yards. There's 380 yards in each skein. Obviously, you're gonna have a little bit left, but it's not like you can cut it in half at the store and be like, okay, I only need half of this. Just keep that for another day, or make a mini version if you wanna go ahead and use up all the scraps. Actually, that's a fantastic idea. Corner to corner, scrappy yarn blanket, use it all the way up until I have nothing left. Well, now I have more ideas. Oh, which reminds me, if you want to do this crochet along, but you're like, Kayla, I really don't want to do color work. Maybe just like time. You don't think you're gonna have enough time to do all the stuff, but you still want to do the 100-night crochet along with us and all the fun things that go along with it. You can go ahead and just do the pattern without the color change. Meaning, go ahead and grab your favorite color from the Big Twist line and just use that color. Or you can change off colors every skein. You still have an awesome blanket at the end of it, but you just don't have to spend the extra time of like following the graph and stuff, which again, I personally think it is totally worth it because it's a statement piece, but I totally understand either way. I'm just throwing out options for you. Basically, we're all just here to celebrate the countdown to Halloween. That's it. And however it works for you, we want you here. We want you celebrating with us. Another video that is going to be coming out before we get started is a full tutorial walkthrough of how to do the corner to corner stitch. Here in the pattern, we have it all written out. If you enjoy the tutorial, the like you and I work it up together, that's going to be available. There's also going to be timestamps on it. So the things like on the next page here, changing colors, decreasing, how to finish the blanket. There is a couple of pictures available, but again, if you like to see it in action, that's going to be there for the reference. Also, if it's just been a while since you've done this stitch, it's a nice little refresher. You can kind of watch a little bit and be like, oh yeah, I totally remember, and then keep going with the pattern. Okay, so we've chatted about the materials, the gauge, the color work. Now, how the actual pattern is going to be worked over the course of 100 nights. With the PDF, we have this other graph, and this is why it seems like it's very thick. It is split up for every single day. Starting with day 100, countdown to Halloween, we have the rows that we're going to be working for that night. Very first night, we have row 1 and row 2. Just go ahead, correlate, find it over here on the pattern, and then work up those rows. Every day is not the same. So for a while here, we do 2 rows every single night, but there is 143 rows in total for the graph because again, that's only a couple of tiles that we're working. Those get bunched up in the beginning, but then you start to work into like rows 30, 40, 50. They get a little bit longer. We start building that width for the blanket. When there's 77 days left to Halloween, then we start working just 1 row at a time. When there's 21 days left to Halloween, we again start working up 2 rows for every single day. And by that time, we've decreased each row. So again, the rows are a lot shorter, and it's an attainable type of goal to work up 2 rows at a time. The last part of this crochet along is attached to a movie marathon as well. So we have the other part of the graph is totally empty. That's for you to go ahead and fill in, and it's movie of the day. Every single night we are gonna have a movie set aside for us. For me, it makes it so much easier to remember to work on this pattern every single night, and also I know that time is just there for me. It's like 90 minutes to 2 hours every single night, set and ready to work on this pattern. So you have 100 nights to pick out your favorite movies and put into there. When I first started doing this, I thought it was going to be really difficult. It turns out it is not. I have a lot of Halloween favorites, and it's really, really difficult for me to narrow them down to just 100 movies. If you don't want to do that though, I have my completed version. It's going to be on Instagram. So there's like the little highlight button. It has the entire thing that we're going to be doing for Frights, all of the stories that go along with it. The graph is going to be there too. So if you want to follow my list exactly, you don't want to think about it, you're like, just give me a completed 100 nights of Halloween movies, totally feel free to follow me as well. A lot of campy movies, I'm just going to say it up front, you already know. Those are my favorite Halloween movies, sprinkled in with some psychological, some sci-fi, definitely love a good sci-fi horror movie, but mainly camp. That's what I have. So if that's also your vibe, it's already set up and waiting for you. Or you can do a combination too. Again, this is your crochet along. Check out every movie that I have for the 100 nights. Take your favorites, add your own into some of them. Just make like a Frankenstein version of the already completed movie list. If you end up doing that, don't forget to tag me so I can see the ones that you added of your own. When it comes to weekends in this 100 night countdown, I definitely double and triple up movies every once in a while. So I'd love to be able to add onto my list as well. All right, so we have officially gone through this entire pattern, everything that we're gonna be expecting. Hopefully you're now really excited, ready to go, counting down the days to July 23rd like I am, where we can start the project and put that very first Halloween movie in. Let's start a list down in the comments too. Like, let me know the very first movie that you're gonna watch. Let's really jump kick this spooky season off this year. For now, that is everything. So have a super spooky rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.